Welcome back to Fine Music with a slight 1 week hiatus, unplanned, but we have kept track of our statistics. So this is episode 417 of Fine Music. We just keep on rolling with our leadoff man, Fred Whitlock.
A couple of months ago, maybe 2 months ago, Don introduced us to a Swedish bass player, jazz bass player, Lars Danielsson, and I listened to the albums that he recommended, and then I kind of went further into his catalog, and I found out he recorded with an Italian trumpet player that I like, Paolo Fresu, Fresu, and they have a duet album called Summer Wind that came out in 2018. And it's incredible for two musicians. This is unique, a trumpet and a bass. And one critic says that musicians choose their notes with great care. Every moment counts. There's nowhere to hide. Their craftsmanship just clearly shows. And it's definitely a great musical conversation between the two musicians, and it's fresh and breezy and has great depth to every minute of the album. Then after I was listening to that, I thought I'd get into this trumpet player a little more because I had one album by him, Paolo Fresu, and he recorded 3 albums in a trio setting, and it's called Mare Nostrum, Marenostrum, and it's volume 1, 2, and 3. They first came out in 2007 with their first collaboration. The second one came out in 2016, and the third one came out in 2019. And it features Paolo on trumpet, Richard Galolini from France on accordion, and Jan Ludgren from Sweden on piano. So this is another unique musical arrangement. And when I first heard it, I was amazed by the sound, and you don't hear too much of jazz accordion, but this is some sweet notes in this, and they have a great version on the third album, Windmills of Your Mind. Now, hundreds of people have recorded that tune, but this is a nice, really nice version of this. There's 15 cuts on the album. It's got a great sense of warmth and tone. A little bit of tango is jazz, a touch of classic, and the brass is mesmerizing. Then that led me to look into Paolo's discography, and I found out that he recorded 3 albums with Omar Sosa, who's a Cuban piano player, keyboard player, and he moved to Spain, and I have a couple albums of Omar's, and I thought, wow, these two got together. But they also, on their albums, they bring in Jacques Lowenbaum. He's from Brazil, and he's a cello player that played in Jobim's last band. And then later, with other people, recorded a couple of albums that were tributes to Jobim. So this is a pretty interesting arrangement. And the first album I listened to came out in 2012, Alima, Alima, and Paolo and Omar with Jacques has a very great tribute to this. Thoughtful, it's spontaneous. There's a modern European jazz sound to it, And when the cello comes in, it brings a whole flavor to the song. They definitely a delightful album. And they on the album they do a version of Paul Simon's Under the African Skies, which is pretty
I love
amazing.
that one.
So the third album, they did 3 albums together, Omar and Paolo. Eros, Lima, which I just talked about, and their latest one is called Food. And they, in the first cut or so, they integrate sounds that were recorded in wineries and restaurants. You hear some talking, you hear the way, you hear the chefs, little pieces quietly behind the music. This is an album about food and being sociable. It's quite different. They bring in some vocalists on it, and there's even a rapper on Green with a heavy beat. And again, Jacques joins them on 5 cuts with his cello, and it's a great album, very different from the first 2 that they did. This is called Food. Then I found out that in 2023, Paolo did a tribute album to Ferlinghetti titled Ferlinghetti. And the trumpet, drums, and double bass, and a bandona, which is almost like an accordion. And it's great sound. It's just musical expression of Ferlinghetti's poetry, and it's immersed in his words, with has some electronic effects during the album, and it opens up a lot of musical doors to it, and it's a great tribute to Ferlinghetti. And then speaking of tribute albums, in 2021, an album came out called Heroes, a tribute to David Bowie. Now this album, it features a group led by Paolo, but it has Petra Mangoni on vocals and her sister on background vocals, and there's trumpet, flugelhorn, guitars, drums, electronics, trombone. They've did an extended version you can find up to an hour and a half of great songs. It starts out with Rebel Rebel, and right away, you know you're going into a new musical world with this album. They capture the essence of Bowie, his spirit, his adventureness, and they take each song into a new stratosphere. The second song on the album is Little Wonder, and it's got a great drum solo. Guitar rock starts rocking out in the middle of it. They do This Is Not America. They completely changed Let's Dance into electronic tune, and the vocal is just fiery, and the band comes in on each cut and just takes it into a whole new world. They got great sound to the band, and they put Starman has a Caribbean feel to it, and like I said, the electronics and the trumpets and the voice just becomes sometimes experimental, and Bowie would have loved this album. And it's a shame. I was thinking, God, if he had only met up with these people, it would have been a great collaboration with him. It ends with a wonderful version of Cat People. So that's Heroes, a tribute to David Bowie.
Nice. You mentioned jazz accordion, which brought to mind 3 people groups that I'm not a big accordion fan, but I went to high school with Weird Al Yankovic. He went to Linwood High School like I did.
I knew you were going to mention him. He's
Yeah,
actually got a new one out too.
He does. I saw the movie. Did you see his movie?
I did. It
No.
was
It was horrible.
It was purposely fictitious,
I know.
which
it
I
was
thought
silly.
was
It
really
was
clever.
fun in a way. You know, I don't know. It looked like it was intentionally bad. So, you know, I don't know. And then
It
there's
was.
the other accordion player that I can tell you that's really tremendous. If he's still alive, I'm not sure. I saw him at the Belly Up a long time ago. Flaco Jimenez, Mexican accordion player, just tremendous. And then another group, I saw this group play at the Solana Beach Fiesta del Sol, which is every year, first part of June. Kind of ironic because down here it's not sunny. Fiesta del Sol, it's not sunny in that time of the year. So the group was called Those Darn Accordions, and it's like 5 people playing accordions, and they do a great version of Jimi Hendrix's Fire on accordions. That, you know, they're really interesting. They're from San Francisco. I don't know if they're still around, but that's what you brought to mind, Fred. Number 417. All right.
Oh, wow, you signed up for me. Cool.